Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong. Welcome to the Back Office Teardown Lab. For years, I think probably a decade now, I've been using this PRS-505, but I have to admit, over the last maybe 3-4 years, it's spent more time on its charger than being read, and I have to say it's getting a little long in the tooth. It's a Sony ebook, and it's one of the, I guess, first generation technologies. It has the old SD card. It even has the Sony's own bespoke memory card format. It has headphones out and volume because, of course, it had built-in MP3 player, so it was really quite groovy. It's gone through several revisions in terms of its firmware because some people did some sort of open source firmware hacks. So it's had open source firmware hacks, so the menu looks slightly different. It does have all these nice buttons and lots of ways of reading. It's not touchscreen or anything like that, and there's no Wi-Fi and things, but you can just sit there and read, you know, different ways. And that was really good, but I kind of got into the whole reading books on my phone, and then really recently gone into the whole Audible. So as it's Christmas, and as it was fitting a thing, my wife asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and of course I thought I'll have a new ebook. And if you're going to go for a new ebook, you're going to go for a Kindle. And I'm already an Audible user, I'm already an Amazon Prime user, so it made a lot of sense to sort of say, okay, let's get into a particular reading ecosystem. And boom! There we go, there's the Kindle Paperwhite that I've ordered, and a case. So first things first, you can look for the cases online with Amazon, and if Kindle will try to, or Amazon try to sell you their own case, which was about 20 quid, and this one is about 7. So we'll have a quick look at that one later as well, make sure that actually fits. But this is the Kindle Paperwhite. Now the first thing you notice when you order it, that it doesn't come with an AC adapter, and you can see why. It's because they want to just ship it to you in the most economic way ever, and it is really neat though when you think about it. Look at that. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? They do it in various variants. You've got an 8GB and a 32GB with or without adverts. So there's this odd thing where if you're willing to sacrifice a bit of real estate for it to show you adverts on the sort of boot screen or home screen, you can save about a tenner. And you notice, by the way, I'm opening this very gingerly. Remember, this is a Christmas present. My wife isn't expecting me to have intercepted this, so this is almost like a teardown of how to get in there, but it gives me time to tell you about these things. So yeah, the options basically are with or without adverts, with or without 4G as well. In fact, just leave that there. I'm just gonna open it from the bottom. How about that? That's undetectable. It's always like how to break into an Amazon Kindle pack. They've done a good job of that, by the way. That's never coming off. They've obviously thought about people pilfering these things. Now the interesting thing is the base model at present is about £109 for the 8GB. That goes up to about 130, 129, 139, depending on, again, that if you've got the ads enabled or not. And if you want the 3G, or sorry, 4G now, is only available on the 32GB model, and that will set you back £200. So it's really weird. I couldn't think though, what is the use case for anyone to want the 4G? I mean, it's bonkers sauce, isn't it? I don't understand that one. It's like the LTE 4G add-on, because everybody will have that access to their phone or Wi-Fi, and they go, well, it's good if you're on holiday. But I'm like, well, is it? I mean, who doesn't have their phone on holiday? So there's something really odd going on there. So let's slip that out. So you can get it out pretty undetectable, going by the bottom if you're sneaking under the Christmas tree. I wouldn't advise getting the 4G. I think that's crazy expensive for what you get. So you get your little books, and then you can probably slip this out. I should think it's designed to slip out. There you go. And there's just a regular USB cable in there, and that's it. But at least they give you the USB cable. They might not give you the charger, but at least they give you the cable, and I think that's pretty damn useful. I mean, most of us will have a USB, anything that'll have a USB. I mean, these don't take much current. So they'll just sit there, trickle charging away. Let's get it out of that pack, and we can compare it. So size by size, actually, it's pretty contemporary really. I guess they're all limited by the screen. Now just to describe this is weird. I'm looking at this thing and it looks to me as if literally there's a piece of cardboard in the screen. You can see that where it says Kindle. I mean, all of that to me looks, I swear, like a piece of cardboard. And I assume that the screen is off and powered down, which means that that is the retention of the technology. You know, the technology for retaining the picture is gone insane. Look, it's like really long life. I mean, these things here used to conk out sometimes and crash, and it would stay on the screen for a while. But this looks like it's, you know, literally printed on. So when they say Paperwhite, they are not joking. So on the bottom you see like there's a charge LED, power, and a micro USB. It's a shame it's not USB-C, but you know, shrug shoulders. Ought to be really. So that's just booting up, and just going to compare side by side. Yeah, I mean the Kindle screen is definitely looking nice and sharp. English United Kingdom. Next. And then it's doing something. It's doing some loading and sorting itself out. Now looking at this part of the screen, it almost looks like there's two shades going on, but I'm not sure how it's achieving it. It definitely seems to be like there's shades. Or could that just be that, you know, that it didn't refresh the whole picture? Definitely, it's weird though. Again, it's hard to describe, but it does look like paper. I'm going to leave it there and we'll come back in a minute when it's finished doing its thing. It's gone a bit further now and it's telling us high resolution 300 pixels per inch display, built-in light and weeks of battery life. And of course it's a touch screen. Let's get started. Connect to Wi-Fi, all of the usual things. Okay, plugged in a broken USB lead, that's why it's sitting on a pen, but don't worry about that. But weird thing is, it knew who I was. It does say, hello, Dr. Andrew J. Armstrong. Here's your Kindle's time, and you just say continue setup. And the weird thing about it is, as you're tapping the screen, it is a little bit like a phone, but there is like a very slight delay. But in the olden days, these things would used to like refresh loads of the screen, like virtually the whole screen, but now it kind of just refreshes around the characters and things. It's obviously a lot smarter than they used to be. So I guess I'm going to have to put in my phone number. I've done all the messing around, I've got it on Wi-Fi, I've registered my account, and not only that, it actually sends a link to my phone, and it's hooked up the Kindle on my phone to the Kindle on here. So I'm guessing as you read between the two it syncs, as you listen on your Audible it will sync. So remember, this is the 32 gig model. And something I didn't really realise at all, totally failed to realise, is that when you turn off the light, the screen is actually maintaining that same colour. It's probably not so obvious in the camera. Whereas this is looking quite dark, and this is actually illuminating, and I think there is a brightness control, so we might be able to turn that up. Now it looks crystal white there. It's amazing. It does look like a self-illuminated bit of paper, and it's quite staggering the difference between the two. I'm going to click this one, Starship Grifters, and we've got Mortal Engines and Predator Skull. Actually, one thing that's interesting, notice this Mortal Engines Philip Breve is actually an Audible book there, so we'll have a check that. Oh, I think I accidentally disclicked it. Doesn't say downloading items, so it is downloading that. But I'm going to go back to the Starship Grifters, and we'll let that thing download by itself. And you can see it's doing this whole queuing thing. So if you're used to using the Audible on your phone, it's very similar to that. I'm going to zoom in just ever so a bit closer so you can actually just see the quality of the screen. So there's my finger right there. So you can see it's definitely sort of paper white. It's very pale. I don't know what that's doing. I thought that had actually already downloaded, but they're kind of having a download fight right now. But maybe that's ready to open now. I mean, how much do you need to download? I mean, a book, a regular like reading book, surely is just going to be a few K almost these days. So it just says about this book. This book shows you additional information about the book, and it's giving you all the information, pretty much the same information you get from the Amazon store. You can see they've optimized scrolling, so it doesn't scroll exactly how you have on an Android tablet where it's smooth and in stages. It obviously works out chunks, so it's giving you a page. It's like a page scroll, but that makes sense. I mean, come on, you got to respect the technology. There's some comments here on these which are insane, where people complaining it doesn't work like my Fire tab, and it's like, well, it's not a Fire tab, is it? Anyway, so that's the actual thing. I'm going to hold it up how I would read it. Yeah, there's very little glare on the screen, in fact pretty much none, considering I've got incredibly bright overhead lights that make reading lots of things difficult. This is putting it very well. In fact, yeah, I'd say similar though. I mean, it's not massively different than that old technology there. But turning the page, oh, you've turned the first page. Continue reading, tap on the right side of the screen to turn the next page, just tap on the left trying to go back. Okay, so you just tap. So you don't have to do that page swipe thing. That's pretty fast, to be honest with you. I'm going to give you an example of this. If I go continue reading, if I turn the page, you can count the difference, right? 3, 2, 1, turn. 3, 2, 1, turn. You know what though? Isn't it scary how it's not that bad? Crikey, damn it. Sony did a good job. I mean, I never really had too many issues with it, but yeah. I mean, the only thing I did have issues with was bookmarks, so maybe we can do a little bookmark test. So I've moved this onto the next page, and I'm going to figure out how do we do bookmark. Do we touch on the top? Yeah, so you can change your fonts and all that stuff. So hitting this button is probably the bookmark, and I'm going to hit this one here on my Sony, which is down here, which is the bookmark. But look at the top right corner, that's where the bookmark will come. So I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, go. Sony still thinking, still thinking, still thinking, still thinking, still thinking, still thinking. Did I push the button? I'm worried. Maybe I didn't push it. There it is, bookmark. See how long that took? That was insane. Whereas this thing, you can see it's just done it right away, more or less. I mean, yeah, you don't have to worry about that in terms of the time. That's the sort of thing that gets to you, because on the Sony I always felt the need to have to bookmark, because sometimes it would crash and then I wouldn't know where I was, because it's reformatted the screen. You know, it's page 1178 of 2100. I mean, that you trying to find that specific page could be tricky. So again, I'm going to touch on the top. Let's have a quick play through the other options while we're here. So X-Ray gives you all this information about stuff, if it's anyway like the thing they have on their Amazon Fire Stick. Let's have a quick look. You've got fonts, share, bookmark. It's kind of almost like a phone-like experience here. I've got my broken USB one, it's not doing anything. Now let's see what other functions you've got here. If we go back to the, give them a push home. So let's leave the book. Let's see what else you get. So you get your books there. You get your audio books going on. I'm going to click that one audio book, even though it's only in 1%. See what it does. It looks pretty much like standard Audible you get on your phone. There's your little picture Mortal Engine. Of course, it doesn't look anyway as nice as your phone in terms of the colours and things, but you know, it's okay. I mean, again, 300 pixels per inch. I don't know really what a phone these days is doing. I'm going to put my finger there. I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure we're capable of focusing on this bloody thing. But let's have a look. It does have a web browser. I did see that somewhere written, a web browser. And then you've got this experimental browser. So if you have it connected to Wi-Fi, apparently there are some pages and stuff you can go to that are formatted for this. So, I mean, that's your Wikipedia. What else does it give you? There's a few, I did see there was a few sort of, there we go. Somewhere on this, there was a few bookmarks. Oh, there we go, bookmarks. Let's see, we go to Google. Hello. You can see how I'm typing. It's slightly less responsive than your phone, but again, amazingly responsive for a tablet. And then the... Oh, look, it does. The scrolling does do small amounts. It's like a timed thing. So it obviously waits 1,000, 2,000, 3. It waits about a second before it updates the screen. So if you've moved a little bit, it'll move a little bit, or if you've moved a lot, it'll move a lot. Obviously, moving and scrolling the screen is going to affect your battery life. But yeah, I think I'm going to play with this. There's a lot more, obviously, to do on it. But essentially, though, if you haven't got one, you know, audio ebooks or audiobooks for that matter, ebooks, they really are just like books. There's not massive amounts of functions, there's not massive amounts of features. And one thing this does have over the older counterpart is that it's waterproof, so you should be able to give this a good old dunk in, and that's a massive difference, isn't it? I mean, to be able to use this, I used to use these in the bath. I read my phone in the bath, so this is going to be a great replacement. There's no audio output though through headphone sockets. You will need Bluetooth, but again, if you're listening to Audible, you can have a Bluetooth speaker. This is a dual shot case, soft rubbery goodness with a hard crispy shell. Let's pop that in. Yeah, that's perfect. That is perfect. £7 that case was. Definitely. In terms of weight, similar. Really, it's amazing. I think Sony must have been ahead of the game, to be honest with you. I mean, that is amazingly comparable, shall we say, as a package. But that you could slip anywhere. Oh, did you see how it does that too? It goes into like some other screen, so it's obviously got some sort of detection of that lid on there. So that is the Sony Kindle Paperwhite, the new one, 2018 model, with 32 gigabytes of RAM. Again, if you're not going to listen to too many audiobooks, I would suggest getting the 8, because 8 gigabytes will probably give you 10 years worth of books, or you could probably have 3 years worth of books and probably 200 hours worth of audio. So have a look. You got to really decide if you want to pay that extra £30 for that 32 gigabytes. So I hope that's helped you choose your Christmas present if you're on the fence about getting one. My recommendation is buy one, and I'll put a link down below in the description to where you can get them in your territory. As ever, thank you for watching.